all for coming. So why did we organize this event? Let me just give a quick history of why we are here. So we started out building chatbots in Deutsche Telekom when AI wave was taking off. It's been around about more than a year. And when it started off, it was like, oh my God, the AI wave is here. What shall we do? Should we just build chatbots? Or is there a possibility to do something bigger of impact? And that bigger is what will be covered in the slide, the motivation of some of the design decisions that we took or some of the motivations that drove us into developing something which we refer to as an agent computing platform, which is like the past platform for building agents. This is how we envision how it need to evolve. So far, it's been a crazy journey. We started building ground up something which we pet named LMOS, like Elmo from Sesame Street, like Texas for Linux, right? So it stands for Language Models Operating System, but that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. The details of LMOS will be talked about by the key people who built it, actually, who are also in this room. But I would like to talk about the motivation of what we wanted to do when we started out and where we are and where's the vision which is going to take us. So, it's going to work. Great. So, who knows the Homebrew Computer Club? Oh my God, there's something going on. All right, so, okay. Oh, okay, that I don't know how to take that, which means I'm old too. So, the idea was previously the computing waves, of course, it was around about 1970s, early 70s. IBMs of the world were there, and smaller microprocessors were coming up. Altair was released 80 or something like that. And then it brought together a bunch of people who were into computing. Previously, computing was only possible for the IBMs of the world. So it brought together electronics engineers because there was no field like computer science engineering or something, right? A lot of people, hobbyists and all came together, formed a club. It was called the Homebrew Computer Club. That is the HCC. Anyone who uses Apple today know Homebrew. These are the origins, yeah. So around about 74, the first meeting happened in Menlo Park. It was just hobbies coming together. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Personal computing is here. What can we build? Can we build cool things that's going to displace IBM? And so the two famous names whom you might have heard about is Wozniak. Wozniak was there on the first event. He saw the Altair and then decided he's going to create the next personal computer because it's possible now. And of course, the rest is history. So HCC and how it shaped personal computing, because Wozniak wanted to give everything for free. Steve Jobs had a different plan. But the whole idea was a bunch of engineers coming together and wanting to do something cool. Xerox PARC. Around about when personal computing started to take off, Xerox started to see the potential, oh, everyone is going to move away from paper. Looks like it's going to happen. So what do? Let's form a team. Let us give them everything what they need. Let them innovate. And let's see how they are going to take us to this next computing wave, right? And that's the legendary Xerox PARC team. This was a picture I personally took at the Computer History Museum in San Francisco. So even LNK was part of it. LNK was not part of it. So the idea is it's from this group that came the GUI, the mouse, Metcalf was there, Ethernet was created right here. And of course, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates just saw all these things and then they took it off and then boom, they created their own companies. But the key point is there was a group which was legendary. It's a small group who came together without delivery pressures and they started to tap into what are the potentials of the new computing wave which was coming up. And this is the most famous email that I've seen ever. So this was Linus Torvalds' first email announcing Linux. Hello, everybody out there using Linux. I'm doing a free operating system, just a hobby, won't be big and professional like GNU. We know how it turned out. This has been brewing since April, and it's starting to get ready. I like to get feedback on things, especially from the Minix community. So this is another great example of something which was started very small. There was no other aspiration than seeing, oh, I could do it better, and maybe want to share it with the world. So the previous computing wave, which brings me back to the previous computing waves, the defining waves were microprocessors, personal computing, internet, and right now we are at the cusp of what we refer to as intelligence computing. Something that defined the previous waves as a collective movement which caused all the innovation to happen, which is unlike in any other domain, in pharma or civil engineering. There are patents that I don't think there is enough knowledge sharing. That's the reason why computing has taken off unlike any other domain in the last 60, 70 years. That's because of the free nature of FSF, Richard Stallman started, and the open source software movement, where the idea to contribute and develop just as hobbies and share something and then build on top. So let's look at the previous computing waves, what really were there. Microprocessors, operating systems, internet or the network, which was the web or the internet. Then cloud and mobile computing came round about the same time. And right now we are at something called as intelligence computing. One defining characteristic, as you can see, as we move from bottom to top, the green ones are open. Open, as in no one can really control or monopolize, especially the internet. And Linux, of course, it's fully open source, but which defines most of the operating systems of consequence, except for a few today, right? So, but as we moved further along, the larger corporations started forming up, and cloud computing, mobile computing, we all know that it's kind of getting into a walled gardens scenario. So even right now, we are at the cusp of another wave. And how do we think about intelligence computing before even we start to build applications was one of the thought process last year when we started building AI applications. So the road to AGI, these are emails from Ilya Sutskever and Greg to Sam Altman and Elon Musk. Here, a key point to note, Ilya, of course, has been instrumental in building what we know as OpenAI today. Back then, it was sent in 2017, and this was kind of a dispute on investments which are required and what kind of structure the company needed to have, which was, here he says, this attitude is wrong, like the attitude of AI experts who don't think that AI safety is an issue because they don't really believe that they will build AGI. And then he also says the goal of OpenAI is to make the future good and to avoid an AGI dictatorship. You are concerned that Demis could create AGI, Demis Hassabis of Google. So do we. So it is a bad idea to create a structure where you could become a dictator if you choose to. This was written to Elon Musk, apparently. Especially given that we can create some other structure that avoids this possibility. Why do I show it here? If you look at the spirit of all the previous computing waves, Homebrew Computer Club, Steve Wozniak, Linus Torvalds, the people in the Xerox Spark group, everything that we know as of computing came from these kind of people who are intellectually stimulated and work together as a group to do something greater than themselves. And so was Ilya and a few other researchers who wanted to do whose idea of pursuit of the next wave in computing was for the good. So right now, just like in the previous computing waves, there was open source movement, free software movement. What kind of movements can we start? Or should we try to emulate, which is going to at least shape how this computing wave is going to evolve? That's a thought process. Essentially, we know that building AI models is a huge endeavor. It requires billions of dollars, GPUs. You cannot do it like Linus Torvalds in a garage. So what can folks like us do? But is it really hard to create? So I was fascinated by this example of a community in Catalonia, in Spain. They started building, it's a rural area, and they did not have telecom networks back then. This was in 2004. And the community started to build open nodes on their houses, on the libraries, on the buildings, and then they start to connect an open network. Because it was a rural area, no telecom company was willing to invest telecom networks back there. So this was a network proliferation which really happened. It's kind of winding down, as I can understand, but 71,000 kilometers and 37,000 nodes. It's an open telecom network which was created by a community. So it's not like this could not have been created in a garage, but when people came together, they were able to do it on a physical infrastructure. So this brings in the point that howsoever small, we might be able to do something was the thought process when it all started. And revisiting the computing wave, intelligence computing, what can we do so that it doesn't take the current shape from the open close principle as we know in engineering. Let's start all over again. So we started considering LLMs as intelligent microprocessors. So which means we start all over again. And let's build a new operating system, which is a construct that we can use. How do you build applications on top of this new wave in computing? And also build a layer on top which allows democratization of building applications like the past platforms of the world. And also interconnect these applications so that a greater goal can be achieved. So this is, in essence, the vision which started to form when we started building LMOS, which sits somewhere in between these two layers, and let's revisit all over everything. So, of course, we are not deep model experts. We are not building models. But at the same time, there are open source models which are coming out, Hugging Face. Even corporations are building open source models. But what application constructs can we create today which mitigates the risk of a proliferation of a single model company? This is something that we can at least show how it could be done. One last slide. This was a keynote from Andre Karpathy some months back. I took two screenshots of that keynote. On the left side, he shows the LLMOS, his idea of seeing LLMs as operating systems. And on the right side, he talks about snowballing your projects. This was a really inspiring talk where he says, you start small, don't think about the large aspects of how big or small it can become, just like Linus Torvalds' email. This is how we really started off as a simple DSL built Kotlin DSL to create a rack pipeline to replace LangChain 1 year back. And right now, we have something which our developers are using to build AI agents to serve customer sales and service use cases. And now almost 1.5 million conversations are handled already in the platform. So that's the message which I wanted to convey. This is the vision of LMOS, as in how do we shape the next wave in computing? And how do you build open platforms, however small or big that we can do to get to that state. So this, I believe, should be the first homebrew computer club. In this case, it's ABC, Agents Brew Club, there's beer. So I started adding some pictures in here, which was our first formation, which is the left side picture. 4 or 5 of us started discussing these ideas. More people started to join. I started to create some, graffitis, LMOS AI Collective, Skynet stoppers, and this and that. So essentially, it was just a fun endeavor, but at the same time, we were delivering use cases. And it's been a fascinating journey the last 1 year. And some of the incredible people who build those foundations are here in this room. I would like everyone else also in the room and whomsoever listens, if they are interested to know either LMOS or are able to connect with the ideals that we talked about, join the ABC, which is the Agents Brew Club. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, and this picture is of my nephew looking at a screen in Computer History Museum. It says, I propose to consider the question, can machines think? I made him sit there.